The town glimmering under the blue light of sky, the evening soundly unfurls. On the empty road there positions a black sleek car before the small shops of blossoms, where the freshly prepared bouquets of flowers are arranged. Near the car stands a raven-haired male, the one who owns it, his callous fingers crossed on canvas stick from which the smoke is inflating merely in the atmosphere around him, while his other hand is inserted in his pocket as he is standing there calmly. His dark orbs are settled on a distance as if he is looking someone's way, his vision on road of a specific bloom shop. He knew she'd come here to this particular shop to buy some flowers for herself or perhaps to help the old lady who sells in that shop. Flower shop's vibrant display created a warm, inviting glow. He watched as people come and went, yet his gaze remained there, awaiting her arrival. His chiseled features, expressionless, hiding emotions that rushes in his nerves, emotions that brings him here. The impatience that fills resilient Mill's heart soon came to an end when he sees the scenario of that beloved being who walks delicately illuminated in the blue light of evening. A smile rests on her luscious pears, a tender glimmer of her cheerfulness. The male is unaware from the reason of her happiness, yet he just yearns to find that smile on her demure lips forever. The dusky lashes of her caresses soft arcs of her face as she keeps her eyes down, taking every step carefully. Suga rubs burning coal stick on his leather jacket as its ignited edge die out by the friction of leather. His this thoughtful act is for her, 'cause he is aware in a couple of seconds Azure my end will be near. He prioritized Azure peacefully rises her dewy gaze, her divine eyes roaming on the cityscape. After a few steps she stood before flower shop. The old lady in the shop smiles at her as she greets the lady politely. Soon her tender fingertips moves on the petals of blooms. The rubus folds his arms upon his bulky chest while he observes how she strokes flowers softly. Even the petals are reflecting her frailty through their gentle sway. She gazes the lady and gestures on a basket of blooms, making the lady female nod. With her petite hands, she cradles on wooden handles of basket along her serene act. She turns her slender form slowly. Her eyes fell on Stoic. She is quite familiar with him. Her pure heart slightly aware from his intentions due to his constant presence near. Azure stood on the opposite sidewalk, delightfully holding the flower filled basket with her both hands. During the Stoic leaned against his black card's polished surface, reflecting the city lights like a dark mirror. His eyes piercing and calm held Azure's gaze. The wicker basket overflowing with tender petals, soft pink lavenders, and white tulips spilled from the basket. The petals are so as her own glowing in the fading light, infusing the air with sweetness. The moment fell silent with only the drained sound of cold breeze. As the moment lingered, Azure's eyes darted, she turns to walk away from the sight. Few petals fell from the basket, leaving trail of soft color on the road. The Stoic's gaze followed her, his visage unwavering, yet the departure of her strained his essence. Hours of waiting had distilled into single fleeting moment. His gaze on the spot from where she slowly disappeared, the pavement still warm from the memory of her weightless steps, a hint of tranquil to him. As the days went, another serene evening unfurls. Inside pastel-themed bouquet shop, there stands Azure her its manifold. During she arranges a vase on center table with her demure lips formed in a delight smile which is healing for the observer outdoor. The sleek black car positioned before the shop since hours, the stoic who owns it stood against its bonnet, his fingers crossed on puzzle stick while his other hand cradles on the cold silver lighter, a sign of his harmful addiction for the dark smoke. The female indoor is oblivious from the ominous stares upon her fragile core. The evening slowly falling dark when the simple acts of duty are spellbinding for Suga, who finds tranquil in the scenery of mesmerizing female beyond the glass walls. The way those blooms she tucked in her silken hairs a while before sways lightly, her dreamy eyes roaming on the blossoms endlessly, and lastly but refine another white bloom in the vase. She stepped back to admire her own creation with softened eyes. The vase shimmered, reflecting purity of one who crafted it. Her dusky lashes flickered as she gazed outdoor, and instantly time suspended. The assertive straightens his turbulent soul, granted with the convoy of those lively eyes hidden beneath banks. Azure wonders how the cold is not having any hold on that man outdoor who is standing alone in that rough weather. She had no idea he'd been waiting for her here from hours to look after her well-being, 'cause most of shops around the town are closed. Without diverting his vision, Stoic extinguished the burning stick. He slid his lighter in his pocket along his rugged hands to avoid providing any discomfort to that living blossom. He stepped inside ahead. His resonant stride devours the distance. The bell above the door chimed softly as he entered inside the warm interior. Appealing heart felt skip a bit. The Starks present filled the shop. His shadow casted on frail one, who hesitated before she gestures him a silent greet, receiving. Vigorous silently praised her surreal features until his orbs followed the gentle sweep of her lashes, the delicate flush spreading across her snowy cheeks. The raven haired consumed how she is struggling for even gazing up in the intensity of his vision. He is determined to identify every behavior of her, but not aware with new feelings. His stares awakened in divine sensitive heart. He is unwilling to unsettle her further, therefore he diverts his vision in the ravenous of allure. Stoic wandered his stares in shock. I want that one. Azure slowly lifts her soft eyelids before she holds the bunch of flowers in her petite hands as she wraps the blossoms tenderly with her dainty fingers. She ties the white ribbon which merges with her skin on the brown wrap serenely. Azure hesitantly reaches out, the bouquet grasped in her little paws, half covered with the long sleeves. The slight too lovable that it brought a slight grin on Stoic's rough peers. Their eyes met briefly before she again darted those soulful. His hand inserts and pocket rough fingers against worn leather of his wallet, pulling out a crisp bill. He handed that to Azure. The sweetness of petals slowly dissolves with arcadity of smoke. Bouquet that once seemed large and delicate soul now seems brittle. Buying flowers, an unfamiliar gesture for him, became an excuse to be near her. The velvety petals and soothing scent were mere accomplishments to the gentle harmony of her voice as she shot spirit against his, and still now he have to leave. The male lastly takes in her side before he turns his hulky physique to departure from the interior, leaving his dearest enclosed in the moment. Her heart fluttered with some unfamiliar emotions. Days melted into weeks, and Azure found herself scanning down crowds and her surroundings, her daring gaze instinctively searching for Suga, her heart fluttering with every fleeting resemblance. They often find excuses to cross each other's paths, showing the intentional encounter at bookstore just as a coincidence. Stoic had often dropped Azure at doorstep of her house, giving reasons as late hours of night and empty streets, but this time they disbanded excuses when the resilient male asked. The door of house unlocks with a low sound, revealing a surreal form, refined in simple clothes, stepping outside courtly with a curve resting on her luscious lips. She paused, her petite hand lingering on the cold surface of door's handle when she closes that. Keys attached with adorable keychains tinkled softly as she dropped them in her bag. She let her gaze wander as her eyes lifts upwards with a tender flicker. That's when she saw him, the relentless male who stood against, his one hand inserted in pocket while the other is slightly bent near his rough pierced poisonous stick enclosed in closed fingers, the burning edge casting a faint light on his rugged features, his broad shoulders and chiseled physique fits in his leather jacket. His raven hairs fell across his forehead. The smoke from blittered stick dissolves in the air. Delicate feels a pang in her heart with the thought of what could have been the reason of Stoic to be habitual of this devastating addiction. Azure takes slight steps ahead. She rests her graceful feet before the start, standing behind the robust vitality of older. She reaches her petite hands slowly, and along a silent movement, she places her palm tenderly on the muscular bicep covered in the dark black leather jacket. Stoic's fragile nerves extinguished by her minute act of beard, his rugged profile edged with lines of resilience showing from the hood of his car. The ominous vision takes in the gorgeous sight of dazzling who roams her deary eyes on the ignited coal. Resilient noticed the displacement and soulful radiance of divines, and the only possible reason he finds is the poisonous stick. The male awaited to hear the words of mesmerizing female who parted her luscious lips to utter some truthful words. Seeing you smoke really concerns me. Can you cut it? Azure softly holds the stick from the coarse fingers in her little ones, extinguishing that. Her words, which holded worries for him, only attempts to make every single fiber of assertive as her own. The ember died, releasing a wispy trail of smoke into the air. Her voice, like a delightful waterfall, is barely above than a whisper. Didn't he ask for something which Stoic never committed? He gazes at those pure eyes which hold innocence. Stoic's gaze settles upon the stick nestled in her divine fingers. His red orbs diverts on the blissful face of a whimsical being who awaits for the approval of not quelling that life-threatening call. She will find her solace if only the resilient considers her words. Sugar reaches his hand in the leathery pocket. His hands, roughened by trails of life, emerge from the worn jacket, withdrawing a silver lighter, while Luminous cluelessly watched him. Her slender form wanes as gentle breeze attempts to rustle her silken wings. The metallic lighter, a symbol of repose, it had illuminated darkest times, a constant and old companion for the star through torment, its silvery surface reflecting the blues of sky. Resolute male extends his massive hand to the downy paws of younger. Take it in your hands. I have cut as your tender heart cells, her rosy palm, soft and inviting, cradle the cold lighter, her dazzling fingers wrapped around it. The latter once a trusted alien Tanz's strive now rested in Luring's gentle grasp. Demure pairs of her curl upwards serenely during she encloses the lighter in her delightful hold. The stoic extinguished the final ember of his threatening habit. The dance then receded, leaving only the tranquil silence of their quiet promise. Another evening unfurls their gall-maize shirt before a colorful shawl with an array of bouquets, their light petals swaying mildly in the breeze. The sweet fragrance of blooms filled the air, but the spirit of Azert is restless for enchanting whimsical scent. His dread orbs rest on a bundle of pink blossoms. The rosy hue of those reminds the mill about coral shade of her soft eyes, shade that occurs whenever she realizes the stares of him. The delicacy of blossoms similar to the frailness of her fragile form. The petals that are likely of her his dear awakened an ambition within strike to buy that for her. The rugged hands inserted the worn leather jacket, retrieving a sleek wallet from the inner pocket with precision. He extracted a few crisp notes. He cradles the ever-wrapped bouquet. The lady politely smiled on the young man, away from his passion for the bright-haired girl. The ominous vision of resilience moved to the empty path. His thoughts wandered. How would she adorn herself today? Burley's worn leather shoes tapped the gravel on sidewalk. His calloused fingers encloses the exquisite bunch of flowers. Each mere tap of his shoes resonated with the stillness of his soul. At the same time, the impatience he is enduring of the arid orbs of Brownie soon receives symphony azure on a distant shore. Under the street light, the hem of her dress rustled with the misty breeze, as if nature itself was treasuring her serene appearance. Her dreamy gaze lingers and finally rests on sturdy, delicate heart of her soul with unfamiliar emotions, yet her demure lips curved upwards a hint of delight. With a gentle grace, her footsteps unfold. She glides forward with every slow step. Her smile deepens, which reflects her innermost happiness. She softly slides her rosy bangs behind reddened ear. Her act a nervous tremble, speaking about the attempt resolutes whereat demeanor made. Skies blues, descants, enchanting vulnerability. Her alabaster skin enhances with the glory of affection within her. The luminous eyeballs of him lock onto India, standing refinedly on the opposite side of road. He strides towards fragile being. He crossed the road purposefully so that his loved one's soul would not have any slightest dread. He soon hides calmly steps away. Her divine eyes fluttered downwards as they rested on the frail bouquet in rugged cradle. The smile on her plush pears flourished, knowing that it was for her. She peeks through silken veil of her bangs at sharp-featured male, silently gesturing him polite greet. She receives a slight note from him, the aroma of roses wafts in his massive hand, replacing the arcade tang of the secret symbol that his damaging habit of smoking was discarded because of mesmerizing female, the one who is dearest for him. The coarse claw extended, conveying the bouquet to the pure soul, where the sweet Chante's heart skip a beat as she delightfully holds the red blooms close to herself. She grants him a whispery gratitude, subtly assertive, venerate modesty of allurings. The tender fingers of appealing caresses across the velvety texture of blissful sepals with compassion. Her adorned acts defines her hardened feelings for Suga when her feeble fingers brushed against the refined petals release gentle fragrance. She brings her button nose closer, inhaling floral scent, finding that soothing, oblivious from charm of her own whimsical amid. During Stoic silently observed the divine nature of her, his grave vitality holds ambitions for beholding the same scenery. The sky hung upon them, witnessing their quiet affection.